Hi guys, and welcome to Handy with Handguns. Today we're going to be cleaning the Ruger LCP. So one of the first things you always want to do before you clean a firearm is make sure that it's unloaded. So we're going to go ahead and remove this magazine, check, make sure that again it is empty. Now, even though that magazine is empty, there could still be one in the chamber. So go ahead and pull it back, make sure, double check that it is indeed completely unloaded. Now we're going to lock the slide back. There's the little slide catch that's right there at the top of the thumb. And now what we're going to have to do is remove the locking pin that is located right here in the dead center. Just take a little tiny screwdriver, pop it up just a notch, and it should pop completely free. Slide that right out. Now, it's important to remember that a firearm that isn't real recently oiled, all of this is probably going to be a little bit more difficult. So now we're going to move this slide forward and remove it all the way, because that locking pin is no longer holding it in place. And then we're going to want to remove all the springy bits that are located right here underneath the barrel. You're going to want to make sure that you put these back in the same way that they came out. So remember that. There should be like a little flat cap there that like designates where it seats in. So now we want to slide the barrel out. There's this little catch right here on the side. We're going to want to finagle that out of the way so that we can pop the barrel out real easy. This will just take a little bit of juggling and finagling, and eventually it'll come out real nice and easy. Again, all of this is a lot harder on a firearm that is not well oiled, and this one isn't particularly well. So now we are going to move ahead and forward with the cleaning process. We're going to put some solvent onto some of these swabs here. I mean, I call them swabs. They're just a piece of cotton cloth. You can either buy them in the store as cleaning swabs, or you can actually make them yourself out of old used t-shirts, whatever you want to do. So I'm just going to spritz this down with some of this solvent. Now, there's really two types of solvent, or three types of solvent you can buy in the store. One is for copper, one is for lead, and then another one is like a mixture of both. That's usually what I use as the kind of all-purpose solvent because I'm lazy. Now, we're going to thread that through the thingy right here. This also has a name. I never can remember what it is. They come in all of your gun cleaning kits. They attached to the brass rods, and they usually say what caliber they're for on the thingy. So, you're going to go ahead and run that through the barrel, get some of that cleaning solution in there. Now, I have very recently cleaned and oiled this firearm, so I'm not really going ham after it because I haven't shot it since I last cleaned it. And normally I would go ahead and put one of these brushes on, run the brush through, and do what we just did, but with a brush. I'm not going to worry about that today because, again, I have not shot it since I cleaned it. So we're going to want to put this swab back onto here. This time we're going to use a different one that I have not put any cleaning solution on. So this is a dry swab. We're going to go back through just to make sure that we get any residual cleaning solution back out of that barrel. Now, one thing you want to make sure is that you're using an actual cleaning kit for all of this. Use actual brass rods. The reason you're using brass is because that's softer than the metal of the firearm so that you're not damaging anything. So now we're going to switch to some gun oil. Now, normally, again, you would use some of the solvent on the receiver and some other bits of it, but I'm just not going ham after it today because I've cleaned it fairly recently. Now, it's important to also recognize there's two different things here. This is oil. This lubricates and protects, keeps water off of your firearm. This is a solvent, and it removes deposits. Those are two different things, and you want to use them for two different purposes. So I'm going to go ahead and coat every single metal surface of this firearm with these oil wipes. Now, these do have some cleaning properties, like they'll definitely get, darker as you're pulling deposits off with them. They're just not really designed to remove deposits, so they're not going to get some of the harder in bits of copper and lead out of there. Now, so you want to get all up inside here. Really, anything that is made out of metal, you want to coat with these because that oil is going to prevent moisture from getting into the metal, prevent rust, corrosion. Anything that's moving on anything else is going to make sure that it moves easier. Everything. Now, also, I should have went over the tip of this barrel here with some solvent. Last time I cleaned it and this time I cleaned it, I didn't either time, and now I'm recognizing as it comes off onto these oil wipes of, oh, God, there's a lot of deposits in here that I didn't get before. Just going to go over all that, keep wiping everything down. Now we're going to go to the internals of the, nope, I don't want to forget these springs. You always want to oil up your springs. Don't go, crazy. There's like two springs inside of here as well as like the guide rod. You don't want to take all that apart because it might be a cluster to put back together. So now we're going to go ahead and clean out the inside of this. You want to get all up inside there, up and nice and deep. Now, unlike a revolver, it takes it's not real easy to get all of this apart if you're even able to get it apart. So you kind of got to get in there. You're not going to get everything out, but you can still do a fairly good job. There we go. We got all of that oiled up, nice and ready to go. So now we're going to want to take some kind of a dry cloth, and we're going to want to wipe all of the excess oil off, both for your own pleasure and handling. You don't want to be handling a greasy gun, and also, just it's not good. It actually can cause a buildup of deposits and other things, having excess oil, runs of oil on there. You want everything to be oily, but you don't want it to be pooled in oil. So we're just going to run over everything, trying to get it nice and all that excess stuff dried up. Now we're going to put everything back together. We want to slide the barrel back into there. It's really going to be just the reverse of how we took it out. We just got to finagle some stuff around, get that slide catch up and out of the way. Here we go, finagle it around, figure it out. Blah, blah, blah. There we go. Got right in there. And again, all of this stuff kind of goes a lot easier once it's properly oiled up. So now we just got to slide the spring back in there. That the end that you took out will go right back up inside that end there at the beginning of the barrel, and then it should seat real nice and comfortable. Now you just got to replace the slide it right into the guide rail in the front, and then all the way back. Now, we're going to put the locking pin back in. Now, this part can actually be a little bit tricky. You usually kind of got to move the slide back and forth. I think in the book it says specifically that it should be like, a millimeter one direction or the other so that it goes in correctly. But just finagle it around and it'll slide right into there, no problem. And there we go. Now we can replace the magazine, make sure that everything cycles and functions kind of the way that it should, and you have disassembled and reassembled and cleaned your firearm. Do ignore that I don't quite have the magazine all the way in there, but you can follow Handy with Handguns on Spotify and anywhere else podcasts are found, and we're on Twitter @HandgunsPod. Thanks for joining us.